What's up, you guys? Another top three for recovery video. Tonight I got my boy Alec Robinson on, all the way from Minneapolis. Give me 1 second to bring him in. Hope everybody's having a good day. Alec, what's up, buddy? I see you. Let's go ahead and invite you in. Yeah.
This is interesting. I've never done this before.
Hey, there's a first time for everything, huh?
Yep.
What's going
How we
on?
doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
All the way from Minneapolis. What's going on in Minneapolis tonight?
Well, it is downpouring and it's supposed to start snowing any minute now.
Dude, that's insane.
I know.
Still snowing there.
It is, yeah. I mean, we got a bad snowstorm late April last year, and it looks like we're pushing it to May this year, so that's great. And I was just out in California not just a few weeks ago, so it was quite the bummer coming back to this weather here, that's for sure.
You know, it's so funny. We're so spoiled out here, and everybody bitches. It rains for like a day, and everybody, has panic attacks, and there's always, the news channels go crazy. Oh my God, it's this rainstorm. Everybody stay inside. Nobody wants to leave the house. It's so funny.
I know. I was out there. I lived out there because I was in the Marine Corps. I was out there for many years, and I think honestly it only rained like 3 times the whole time I was out there. It was the crazy drought season. Like, we got evacuated multiple times because of fires on Pendleton and everything. So
Totally.
it was
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm just down the street from Pendleton.
Oh,
But I appreciate you coming on and doing this, man. I really do. And I'm pretty stoked to get into your story because you're almost 3 years sober now, right?
Yep, 2 months from now. Yeah, I just hit my 2-year, 10-month mark on the 2nd. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And I want to hear your story. So I know we talked before this. You struggle a lot with alcoholism, but it really started at a younger age because you have struggles with anxiety and depression. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I was officially diagnosed with anxiety when I was in 6th grade. And it was crazy because, I mean, when you're at 6th grade and all of a sudden something comes out of the blue where for me, my anxiety resonated in my gut. So I would, every single time I'd have a panic attack, I'd get super nauseous and throw up and everything. So basically I spent my whole 6th grade year with my head wrapped around a toilet. And the scary part is when you're that young and you have absolutely no idea what's going on because it's nothing you've ever experienced in your life. And then out of the blue, like a switch flips and you start feeling things that you've never felt before. And even being at that young of an age, you don't know how to communicate how you're feeling. And
Totally.
luckily my parents they're both in the medical field, so we were able to get somewhat of a handle on it quick. Like, I got into the doctors once they realized, oh, this isn't just a kid that wants to skip school all the time. And so yeah, it started with anxiety, slowly developed as, like we talked about, anxiety, depression go hand in hand. And I started showing signs of depression. And I know we only got 10 minutes here, so I'll try to give the super quick version of it. But it got to a point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't possibly fathom living a life so miserable. And so when I was a junior in high school, I tried to commit suicide. I actually just tried drinking myself to death, and I ended up in the hospital. I was basically in a coma for 3 days. And
Wow.
when I woke up, the doctor said your blood alcohol level was so high, if you would have basically had one more drink, that would have been it. And so I went to an inpatient program for about a month. And to be honest, the things that I saw in there, I think did more harm than good, actually.
Wow.
Just seeing all the crazy stuff going on there. And then again, my senior year of high school, got really drunk one night. My parents were out of town, did $50,000 of damage to my house.
Yeah.
And same thing, cops kick down the door and bring me into the hospital again. Did another month at that same inpatient program, and then from there, I basically had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and I ended up joining the Marine Corps. Did my time in the Marine Corps. Started drinking a lot about a few years into my service. Went through rehab twice while I was in the Marine Corps. And it was just one of those things where I think anyone who's recovering, and if you don't think you have a problem, if you don't want to put the work, if you don't want to put the time and effort into it, then you're not going to get anything out of it. So I basically, throughout my whole life of dealing with this, I became very, very good at knowing the exact things to say to get me out of situations. So basically I kind of bullshitted my way through the whole time. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I started a relationship that ended up not being so great, and that was kind of my spiral downfall. Started drinking a lot again. It turned into, once every weekend, and then every weekend, and then into every day, and then I started drinking alone, and then to a point where I couldn't function if I didn't have alcohol in my system. Throughout these whole years, I was a very violent drunk. So I mean, I got very physical with my brother multiple times, even my sister, and then when my last time drinking was 2 days before the 4th of July, almost 3 years ago. And like I told you when we talked earlier, basically I beat the shit out of my mom and dad. And my mom's this 5', 95-pound little woman. And
Wow.
and the fact that, I got so drunk that I couldn't, or that I would do that to my own mother, kind of something in my mind kind of flipped the switch. And from there, that was the last time I drank, and I have not had a drink since.
Yeah.
And throughout that whole time, I was an avid pill user too. So Vicodin, Percocet, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To the point where, and my narcotics tolerance was through the roof. And, I'd be doing anywhere from 12 to 16 pills in a, 4 to 6 hour setting. Don't know how my respiratory system didn't shut down.
Yeah.
So I was very, very convinced that, someone's looking out for me, and there's a reason that I'm still here. And I've become very vocal via social media, trying to be an advocate to show that, if you want to make change in your life, that it's not impossible. It's very doable, but it's got to be one of those things that you yourself want to do. So that's, I guess, the fast forward version of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And we talked before this, like when you hit that rock bottom moment, you didn't go back to treatment. You were so affected by the way you acted and what happened. You went cold turkey.
Yep. I made a promise to myself and to my family members. I remember that next day I sent out a big group text to basically my very, very, very close people in my life. And I'm like, I'm done drinking. I'm never going to drink again. And they're all kind of like, yeah, we've heard this. We've heard this before. And it was to the point where my parents especially were like, if you don't get your shit together, we're done with you. That's it. We can't do this anymore, because it'd been years and years of just pure, torture to my family. And that was, a promise that I made, and that's a promise that I've kept to this day. And that's one that I'm not going to go back on. So yeah, I have not gone I didn't go to AA or anything like that. That motivation enough was enough to kind of keep me sober. And what I've learned throughout my my time being sober is I think I used milestones a lot to really motivate me, but then it gets to a point where you're like, oh, well, this is just my life now. And you have to find other things to motivate you. So that's kind of the struggles that I've been going through lately. Is I'm almost 3 years sober.
Oh, go ahead.
It's my life. It's a year, 3 year mark isn't going to keep me going. 4 years, 5 years, whatever. This is just my life now. And I need to, and that's what I've been struggling with, is trying to find, those reasons to continue to do this. But, so that's what's, it's funny that, a lot of people think, hey, if you're going to get sober, all your problems go away. But that's when your problems really come up, because you don't have anything to mask your issues anymore. You can't crawl into a bottle or pills or whatever your vice may have been. It's that time where now it's the real work, is to work on yourself. And that's kind of the scary part, but also the very enlightening part, is to realize, holy shit, I got some issues that I got to deal with here, and what's the right way to do it now? What's the how can I do this in a healthy way now?
Yeah. And tell me about, how is your anxiety level and your depression levels now?
I mean, it's something that's always there. For me, it ebbs and flows. I have my peaks, I have my valleys. But when I would have those hard, when I'd be in those valleys and having a hard time, I turned to alcohol. And now that I have to deal with it in a healthy way, I've found that I learn so much more about myself now when I'm in those difficult time periods, because I actually have to figure out how to get through these without destroying myself. So even though the depression is there and I have my hard times, I'm very, in a way, thankful for them, because all it does is it just helps me grow as a person. Because once I get out of them, it's another small little victory. Hey, I didn't give in. I was able to, use the tools that I've kind of accrued over the years, and I take pride in myself for actually, continuing to be healthy and to not fall into and listen to those voices in my head, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's a yes or no thing.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, because, you're going on, like you said, 2 years, 10 months sober. You've got a lot going on in your history. We appreciate you, sharing your full story, which is absolutely incredible to see where you were to where you are now. Yeah. What are your top 3 tips to stay sober? Hit me up with number 1.
So for me, it's something I've become very, very vocal about. And it's kind of funny. I have 3 things that I think anyone out there, and including myself, if you have these 3 things, that you will always have success in life. And the first thing is someone or something to love. So whether it's a spouse, a significant other, a pet, whatever it may be, having something to love is absolutely crucial. 2 is something to do with your time, whether that's a hobby, that's work, that's something, working out, being active, whatever it may be. So having something to do with your time. And then the 3rd is having something to look forward to, and no matter what that may be. So I think if you have those 3 things and you hold tight to those, I think that you can kind of get out of any situation that you put yourself into.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, I think I want to have you on the podcast so we can dive a little bit deeper into your story, man. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the top 3. How can people find you if they want to connect with you?
My Instagram, I'm very, very active on there. It's just at Alec Robinson _ because some asshole took Alec Robinson, so I got to throw an underscore in there.
What a dick.
Yeah. But yeah, hit me up there. I always tell everyone, feel free to reach out. Honestly, I get a lot of direct messages, so don't think that I'm ignoring you. It takes a while to get through them. So please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I mean, I don't have all the answers by any means. I have no idea what I'm doing. But if you want to reach out, I always try to make time to get through those, as many of those as possible. So feel free to reach out on my Instagram.
Right on, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're an inspiration, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it.
Yep.